In this video, I wanted to talk with you about why personal brand is so important and why by changing yours, you will see a phenomenal upside in not only your life, but in your financial success. Personal brand is the intentional process of defining how people view you. You may often see people confuse this with reputation, which is more around the credibility of you as a person. But personal brand is about visibility and about the values that you outwardly represent. So we've got the likes of Warren Buffett, owns a company called Berkshire Hathaway, net worth of over $100 billion. But many people know Warren as being the greatest investor of all time. You've got lots of people out there in the world who have a company, but their personal brand actually supersedes or is more well known than the company itself. So why is personal brand so good? The great thing about personal brand is the fact that you get to decide it and you get to define it purely by aligning your intentions with your actions. In the book Atomic Habits, you will see how James Clear explains how identity-based habits have the most impact in changing our decision making. He mentions how aligning a new identity with yourself, changing your beliefs, rewiring your brain will massively change your outcomes. A slight shift in the example he goes through in his book explains that if you wanted to be fit, you wouldn't just go out and say, I want to be fit, I want to run 5K. You need to realign your identity to be a runner. Realigning this identity as a runner will not only change the way that other people perceive you, but it's a way of changing how you yourself will perceive yourself. This then has a stronger benefit to changing your actions. Without personal brand, you allow others to define you and leave that part of you up to chance. An article published by the Harvard Business Review shows that a man was actually turned down for a position simply because of the fact that his boss said, nobody knows you. So personal brand can have a massive change, a massive benefit into your life, whether it is in the professional world or whether it's outside of that. So this can either be personally or it can be professionally. But what you want to make sure is that you don't leave those interpretations up to somebody else because they may often misalign you and underestimate your potential. So how do we go about actually building our personal brand? Step number one, we need to figure out what drives you. This can be your motivators in life. What skills or talents do you have that outshine somebody else? What can be classed as your unfair advantage? For mine, it could be sales, it could be finance skills that a lot of other people in the world do not have. And 5 to 10 years from now, what do you want to have changed? What do you want to be known as? What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? As I mentioned, for me, I'm quite money motivated. I want to be leaving behind quite a good legacy, and I want to actually help educate people, not only on money, but finances, lifestyle, and actually building a successful business. The second step is we need to actually align some value to those goals. If you have no clue on what to do with this, what I've found successful is actually finding somebody that's been pretty successful in what it is that you're trying to achieve. So for me, if it's YouTube, the likes of Ali Abdaal, Nisha, Graham Stephan, Dave Ramsey, looking at what these people have done within the YouTube world and trying to align my style, my creativity, my thoughts into something that they've done and find the best of both worlds. We can observe their behaviors, understand their traits, look at their strengths, their weaknesses, and start to bring this together and think how their personal brand is already outside in the world. Whether, once again, this can be personally or it can be professionally. If you've got somebody in the workplace that you're looking up to, let's say is the top salesperson in your company and you're a salesperson right now, looking at what it is that they do, trying to identify some of the key traits and things that you essentially could replicate within your world and then start putting them in place. And throughout this, making sure that you keep that label in the back of your mind. As we mentioned in Atomic Habits, labeling yourself can actually see a massive, massive upside on your personal brand and your success. So if you want to be a better leader, think of yourself not as, I want to become a better leader. Think of yourself as a leader already. And what would a leader do in this situation? If you're wanting to get into running, think of yourself already as a runner. What would a runner do? A runner may leave their shoes by the door in the morning to get them on, ready to go before they leave for work. A runner may have their stuff packed, ready on their bed for as soon as they wake up in the morning, they can get changed into their stuff and go out and run. Think of what a runner would do, think of what a leader would do, and start putting those things in place for you to make your life even easier. Step 3, once we've started to align our personal brand and figured out what it is that we want to be known as, we need to then map our target audience. So for me, a big driver of personal brand came from my boss at work. He mentioned to me that in order to really excel within the workplace, you have to build a good personal brand. If nobody knows who you are, nobody knows what you stand for, the likelihood of a new opportunity coming to you is pretty slim. So once we have that personal brand, we need to get it in front of the people that it will actually influence. For me in the workplace, it was our account directors, the people that were in charge of the big accounts that we're working with, and actually getting in front of those people, showing the amount of meetings I'm setting, showing the amount of activity I've got within these accounts, showing new opportunities I'm bringing into these accounts, and actually getting myself right in their face in a sense of showing how well I'm doing, showing the success that I'm having, so that if an opportunity did come from the other end, it means that I'm right there ready to take it and I'm outshining everybody else. This target audience can be anybody, it could be any demographic, it could be personally, it could be professionally. If it is personally, it could be a YouTube channel. Think of the audience that you're trying to reach out to. If it's people younger than you, I'm 25 right now, it could be people 20 and going up to 25 that I'm targeting. Making sure that those people have all the life lessons that I've learned in those last 5 years and can start applying them in life. Step number 4, once you've mapped out that target audience, is make yourself visible. These people have to see what it is that you're doing. As I said before, this was flashing every single meeting or all the activity I had in front of an account director at work. It could be sharing wins that you're having within an office work chat. If you've got a project that's coming up and you've hit the deadline a week before, you've had some really good feedback from somebody else in the workplace, get it out there, get it seen by the people that you want to influence. If it is starting a YouTube channel, get that first bit of content out there, start getting active with what it is that you're doing and start influencing those people and just becoming visible. For me, I've started up a new marketing agency called the Beaumont Creative, and we've started getting our first bits of content out there. We've got our first ad out there that's getting out there. We get people sharing it, and you will see a massive uplift in terms of people actually going out there. And if you go and put something very positive and you show you put an effort into something, the likelihood that people will receive it well is very, very high. So with those 4 steps of figuring out what drives you, aligning your values towards those goals, mapping out your target audience, and making yourself visible, you'll now be able to define, develop, and start to portray your personal brand. And by doing so, you definitely will see a huge upside to this. So thank you for watching, and stick around for the next video next week.